We're going to go this way, and then I'm going to change direction. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. Hey everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to my art channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So today I'm doing part 3 of my outer space series. So I really hope that you've been enjoying the series so far. I know I have been. Today I'm doing not quite outer space, it's more like the night sky. I'm going to create, hopefully, this beautiful Aurora borealis, the northern lights, on a starry sky, and then after that's dry, I'm going to add some mountain peaks to it using a hairdryer to blow it out. So last year, about this time last year, I painted a clock, and this was a beach pour, so I had like the sandy beach at the top, and then I had the surf that I blew out from there, and the water almost looked like mountains. And so for basically a year, I've had this in my head. I want to make mountains in the same technique, but I didn't know what kind of a sky I wanted. So now I know I want a starry night sky with the northern lights. So that's what I'm making today. I have a 16 by 20 inch canvas. I have a bunch of black paint and some beautiful Northern Lights colors. So let me tell you what those are. So my black is Apple Barrel, and all my paint is mixed with Floetrol. About 2 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint, depending on the type of paint used. If it's a tube paint, maybe I did 3 parts, 3 to 1. And if it was a particularly thin paint, maybe I do 1 to 1. But overall, it's about 2 to 1, and then mixed to a medium thin consistency. So I have metallic teal from Blick Studio Acrylics. So this looks more medium. Some of them look a little bit thinner and some look a little bit thicker. So it flows off. That one does look a bit thick. Depending on how these others are stirring, I may add a little bit of water. But this is bright aqua green from Blick Studio Acrylics. That one's got air bubbles. There we go. Nice stream of paint there. And then I have brilliant yellow green, also Blick Studio Acrylics. Then I have Pearlessence from Creative Inspiration. So this is metallic white. And I'm hoping this adds a nice shimmer. So it's not just white on top of black, but it's metallic white. Then I have some glow-in-the-dark pink from FolkArt, which does not glow terribly bright, but it fits the color scheme, and it does glow somewhat. Then I have a metallic purple. This is either from CraftSmart or from FolkArt. And I have some Dioxazine purple from Blick Studio Acrylics. And a lot of these are leftovers from previous space pours. And I think they're going to work really well for the Northern Lights. So I hope you're as excited about this as I am. Let's make a painting. I'm going to start by flooding the entire canvas with black. So the finished painting is going to have the night sky be about half of it, and then the mountains are going to be about the other half of it. But in order to not have a textural difference between one side and the other, and to give me total freedom on how I want to lay out the mountain range, I'm going to put a base coat down on the entire canvas. But I'm going to focus the Northern Lights on the upper part. So, pretty much going to put it all out and spread that around. Okay, I've got a pretty good coating on that. Let me give it a torch because there are a lot of air bubbles in the paint. Torching ahead of time is an important step if you're planning on torching afterwards, because if I had swiped my colors and then torched afterwards, all of those air bubbles in the black paint would make black specks in my swipe design. So if I don't want those black specks all over, I don't mind a few, but I don't want them on everything. So it's important to get out as many of those air bubbles as you can before swiping. If you don't have a torch, or if you don't want to use it for some reason, you can also mix your paint well ahead of time so that it's got as few bubbles as possible in it before you start painting. I mixed my paint today, so it had a lot of air bubbles. So there are many different designs that the northern lights form in the sky, and you can look up a lot of pictures, and there's just, there's some that are like straight kind of gradient from green to purple. There's some that's all over the place. So I'm going to be using my big palette knife, and I want to layer the paints sort of in lines so that as I swipe, which direction am I going? As I swipe the sort of swoop across the sky, I'm wanting there to be a bit of a gradient with greens at the bottom, pinks and purples at the top, because that's what a lot of the pictures that I was seeing had. They had sort of a color flow going up even as they moved side to side. So that's what I'm going to go for. And I might not use every single color on this first swipe, but I'm going to start with metallic teal down here at the bottom, because that's kind of my darkest green. And then a bit of the aqua green, the turquoise, whatever it's called. And then a little bit of this. This one never shows up very strongly. And then let's add a bit of separation between the greens and purples with the Pearlessence. And then some of the glow-in-the-dark pink. Not a ton of that. And then the metallic purple. And the Dioxazine purple at the end, so that hopefully it gets that nice kind of fade out into the sky. That's a beautiful palette knife. I'm super excited. Now I need to figure out how I'm going to swipe, because I think if I go one direction and cross over it, it's going to look weird. I think I want to go sort of like up and across and up a bit more. I'm going to start here. This will be my biggest swipe. Okay, let's swipe. So, I'm glad that I tried it. This is very much stripes, as you can see, and I don't care for that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stripe it the other direction. I'm going to swipe right over this line because I like the movement. But what I'm going to do now, I want the metallic, I love that color, so that's going to go here along this whole front edge. And then, yeah, this one will just be a green swipe. Bit of this, and some of this. And this one also might not work. I may find that I need black first so that it really fades out. We will see. Let's try again. Well, that's cool. That looks more Northern Lightsy. My palette knife lifted here. I will go over that with another layer. I'm going to try now a swipe, a little swipe that's going to come up and sort of mirror it and maybe split off a little bit to the side. So it's going to be layered similarly, but I am going to start with just a bit of black on the edge to soften out that front line. I think that might really help. Okay, so you can see I've got black on the side, so that's going to be the main color that starts. Oh, and there's bits of pink in there from the swipe underneath. That's cool. All right, so I'm going to start this one down here. Oh, that's very nice. I do like black at the start because it really fades in. So that's what I'm going to do from here on out. I'm getting way more lacing than I was expecting. Let me torch again to see whether the air bubbles are causing that. I mean, it's really pretty. I was just expecting a little bit more like this and less like that. I'd like to try something. I feel like every bit of this is an experiment, but I want to try sort of swooping up and then back again. And I want to have more pink in this one. So it's going to be the same leading edge of black. So let's try this one. We're going to start from the same area. We're going to go this way, and then I'm going to change direction. And it might work and it might not. Ooh, that is cool. So when I changed direction, the black definitely came and swiped over the other colors, but because this is supposed to be wisps of light, it actually looks really nice. So I'm going to do another one. This one I want a mix of the pinks and the purples, but a little bit of green also. This one should be fun. I'm going to come right from behind this one and do pretty much exactly the same thing. Oh, that's cool. So this stripe of purple didn't have as much black behind it, so it's a lot sharper. But I don't mind. I think it's gorgeous. I need to think about what do I want for the remainder of this. I do want more pink in it for sure. And where is this one gonna go? I think we're gonna try to pull it out from in here. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna try to get rid of some of this turquoise. There we go. It's just a little distracting. I do love the sort of the bold colors here. The white, the turquoise. I feel like it's lacking bold colors. So maybe I'll try to fold one over this way. That was not a great swipe. My palette knife slid under the paint and it sort of caught, so I'm gonna have to swipe that again. So it's beautiful colors. I love the mix of colors, but my sort of sideways and then going the other direction did not work. So let me try that again. This is definitely a different style of fluid art than I usually do. It's very much sort of hands-on instead of just let the paint do its thing. It's really pretty though. Okay, let's try this again and hope it works a little bit better. Well, I think that went better. It lifted earlier than I wanted, so it didn't continue the lines. Let me just... I think I'm going to add a small pink one coming up here, kind of along the top. I'm going to start it down here, overlap slightly. Okay, I think if I keep adding, the sky's going to get filled and we're going to lose sort of the beauty of the night sky. I do really like the lines that I have swirling across. I love these two little ribbons going this way. That's probably my favorite part. And I love this too. Even though it's messy right there, I love it. So, the next step, before I let it dry, is to add some stars so that you really believe that this is the night sky. So for the stars, I use my fan brush and some white paint. So you dip it in just a little bit, and then you tap it until the big blobs of paint come off. And once the big blobs are off, then you can start gently tapping it to make some stars. You'll notice I'm making stars all the way down, even though the mountains are going to be covering it. Looking pretty. Looking great. Okay, I do want some stars along the sides, so that's a little bit trickier. I'm just going to make sure I don't have any big blobs on first. I had a little splatter here where it went kind of sideways, and that would be a difficult place to touch up completely, so I think I'm going to turn that into a shooting star. Instead of trying to do it all right now, I'm going to add that with a brush, but turn that into a bit of a shooting star. I may add one or two others just to make it look extra magical, but I'm loving this very, very much. Let me give you a close-up. Okay, here we go. Look at those beautiful wispy designs. So obviously my phone is trying to correct and show that it's not as dark as it actually is, but it is. Beautiful. So there's where I'm going to add the shooting star. But I got just amazing lacing here. I love those greens. That was the area that got a bit messed up, where my palette knife lifted too fast. I really like that one. So I am loving the way this is looking. I will show you how this looks when it is dry. I will see you then. Okay, we are back. The painting is dry. It's looking beautiful. So looking at this piece, the colors did dry a little bit darker, especially the Dioxazine purple, which should not have surprised me, but right in here, we lost a lot of that lacing, which was primarily the purple. So It's possible I'll come in and lighten up some of that. I don't know. It does look beautifully wispy still. I want to see how it looks with the mountains before I decide if I'm going to touch up the sky anymore. I also thought about painting glow in the dark over all of these so that it would glow in the dark. But then I thought most of this shine is coming from metallics. And metallics with a layer of varnish over top of them, they really pop. And I thought that if I put glow-in-the-dark paint over the metallic paint won't pop as much. And then if the glow-in-the-dark paint doesn't glow all that much, then I've just shot myself in the foot. So I decided not to do that also, even though I loved the idea of having these glowing swipes. What I did add is these 2 shooting stars and a few other larger stars just with a brush, just to make the sky seem a little bit more dynamic. So now it is time to add the mountains. So I'm going to make some beautiful snow-capped peaks. It's going to be like 3 mountains going across here. Here are my colors. These are also mixed with Floetrol and water, but these are thinner. These are like a Dutch pour consistency. So I have Hooker's Green from Blick Studio Acrylics. So do you see? Like, it's definitely thicker than a paint and water Dutch pour consistency, but it flows it's a nice thin stream, and the trace it leaves disappears within a couple of seconds. Then I have Payne's Gray, also Blick Studio Acrylics. Most of these ended up being the same brand, which is unusual for me. Usually I have a mix of brands, but these are mostly Blick Studio Acrylics. My white is craft paint. My white is Sargent and Apple Barrel, but it's also mixed about 2 to 3 parts, all of this, about 2 to 3 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint, and then I add water until it reaches the right consistency. And then I have some colors that I want to kind of mirror the colors in the sky, so it looks like they're reflected in the snow. So I have some of the Dioxazine purple, which is up here. I have some of the bright aqua green. I have that. I have some of the metallic teal as well. And I have some metallic silver, also Blick Studio Acrylics. So I'm going to have the canvas facing me while I make sort of the edge of the mountains, because I need to make sure that it looks balanced and it looks right. But then when I blow it out, I'm going to flip it around to face you. So I'm going to start with my white. Now this would go more easily if I had a squeeze bottle, but I don't, so I'm just going to lay it out with a stick. Okay, I think I like that. And the nice thing is, once it's dry, if I want to add just a little bit, tweak the outer edges, I can do that with a brush. But I have a nice sort of, natural looking ridge line forming here, so that's good. I want to make sure there's enough white that I'll be able to blow it down over my other colors. Okay, so the bulk of the mountain I want to be this dark gray, and I chose Payne's Gray because it's got a bluish undertone to it, which I thought would work well for a nighttime scene, and then the dark green. So those are going to be very dark. So let me start by putting those down. And I want some even close to the top, even though that's where I'm going to put a lot of my other colors too. All right, now some of the green. And I want to crisscross it so that there's layers. Ooh, uh-oh. Flood it up into my white there. Here we go. I want the colors to crisscross each other, is what I was saying, so that you have lots of sort of natural cells forming and blending of those colors. Then I want silver up here right next to the white for the most part, so that it's like the shine of the snow and the ice. But I also want some silver in here just to create some contrast in the mountain. So now with these other colors, I want it to really look like reflections. So I want to place them sort of coordinating with where those colors are in the sky, so that it really looks like that's reflecting directly off of the mountains. And I'm going to add a little bit of the white throughout the mountain as well. Even though I will be blowing white over the top, I want it to look like the whole mountain has snow on it, not just the peak. Yeah, I'm excited about this. All right, I'm going to turn it around so I can blow this way, because that's the easier direction for me to blow. So the first step for a pour like this, the white edge does not have enough paint on it. If I just start blowing with the hairdryer, the white's not going to move. So I'm going to use a straw to blow the white edge down over just the first couple inches first, all the way across, and then I'll use my hairdryer to blow it the rest of the way. Oh, it's taking shape already? Okay, so I just have my little hairdryer here, and I'm going to gently blow the paint across. How does it look? I can't really see from this side. I think it looks cool. Let me flip around so I can see it. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. The paint was not as liquid as I thought. It didn't blow out quite as rapidly. It's very cool. I like the color blend. I think the green and the gray are going to dry a lot darker than this, so they look very bright right now, and I think they're not going to be like that in the end. There's not as much white as I would have liked. I may be risking disaster here, but I'm going to try to blow it again. I'm going to add more of a white edge and the silver edge, and then I'm going to try to blow those over the rest of the colors that I have here. And if I create total mud, then I will layer up, then I'll like just keep pouring on the colors until I get something that I like. But I think I need more white. There wasn't enough to blow down over the colors, and so we didn't get that nice blended effect that I was looking for. Let's try this again. And I think when I blow it out this time, I'm going to use the high setting instead of the low setting, and that might help. All right, let's try this again. Well, I splattered my table for sure. Okay, let me flip it around again because I can't tell. I can't tell if I like it. Yes, I like that better. It still needs a little bit of work. So this was something that I thought I might need to do. In order to create sort of ridge lines. Yeah, so I want it to look like this mountain and this mountain sort of cross in front here. And I'm also going to take my popsicle stick and sort of run it down, and I just stuck it right into the white paint. Whoops! Yeah. Let's do this one over here while I'm at it. Yeah, overall I think that adds a good texture, so I'm going to add a few more kind of ridge lines coming down. I totally love this. Yeah. Let me give you... Oh, let me torch. Let me torch. Then I'll give you a close-up. Close-up time! So. Very cool. I'm really glad I blew it out again. The way the white flows down over the other colors is much better this time around. There's one little spot in there that I may have to add some with a brush. But it's just really cool. And I like those white lines. They give the impression of the folding mountains. So I really, really like that. And I may add some nuance there with a brush. When it's dry, we shall see. But this is what the Northern Lights parts look like. So it's definitely the metallic colors that stand out against the black, but definitely a very cool piece in general, and I really like it. So I love how the two sides have come together to form this just whimsical, abstract, yet kind of realistic nature scene. All right, let me let this dry, and then I will show you how the finished piece looks. We're finished! Woohoo! Oh my goodness, guys, I love this. Let me show you some of the things that I did in brush touch-ups. So first of all, this section right here where the pink and the purple kind of disappeared, I added some more just because I felt like it was important to have that color right there. Then, in the spots where the mountains overlapped, I added just a little gray line so that you could totally see that it was mountains crisscrossing in front of each other. Then I just added a little bit more definition to those white ridge lines, and I added a little bit more color in the mountains with the metallic teal and a little bit more of the purple, just to make those mountains look extra interesting. But I love this so much. I just think I couldn't be happier with this piece. I think the Northern Lights turned out amazing. The nice shooting stars. It'll look even better when this is varnished because right now the black, like It doesn't look as dark as it actually is. But yeah, love all those wispy northern lights. And these mountains turned out exactly how I pictured them. So I can't wait to do more mountain landscapes with different skies. You know, one with a blue sky or a sunset. I don't know. I think I'll have a lot of fun with this in the future. Thank you so much for joining me for this. I hope it inspired you to try something new. Let me know, have you ever done a 2-layer pour like this? If you haven't seen the other videos in my space series, you can click this link that's popping up and it will take you to the whole playlist. Next week, I'm going to try an Olga Sobey-inspired pour of the Earth and the Moon, so I'm very excited about that and hope that it goes well. Thank you guys for joining me for this one. I hope to see you back on my channel very soon for another video, and I'll see you next Monday for the next installment of the space series. Bye, guys!